enough pressure with my back tension to keep the bow pulled raw. And I do not start pulling with my back muscles at all. I literally use zero back tension pretty much to fire my release. It's a simple rotation of the hand for me. And I know that's crazy from what people have been taught over the years. And I know Larry Wise would probably pass out right now if he heard me say that. But, you know, when I was a kid, I went to his school, and he's got so much knowledge. He's crazy, and he's a great guy. And I read his book and everything, so it's kind of funny to me now that we're like, hey, we don't use back tension. And then, you know, after I won some tournaments as a pro and started to become really good friends with these guys and the top shooters, I started realizing nobody uses back tension. All these guys have figured out the same thing I had, that there's no way to repeat that the same and do it the same every single time. And another thing I realized, you know, in archery we work on straight lines and form and everything. You want a perfectly straight line. Well, if you start with a straight line, and then you start adding a bunch of back tension, there's no way to end with a straight line, you know? So, just to kind of touch on that briefly, I don't use back tension to fire my shot. I use a three finger with a click, and you know, the click is a big controversy. A lot of guys don't like it, but I don't use the click as a part of my shot. I use it to set up my shot. So I start the same every single time. I pull back, and as I'm anchoring, I'll pull to the click. So I know I start from the same spot every single time. I don't have those misfires or the pre-fires or anything like that. That's the only reason I shoot a click. It's not part of my shot. I'm not aiming and completely focused, and it clicks and freaks me out. So I do use a click. I use a three finger. I'll go back and forth from several different releases, and sometimes I go to a thumb button. You know, I like to keep myself on my toes. If I start getting really comfortable and with a release, which is the biggest problem, I think, people shoot the same one all day, every day, and no matter what you're shooting or how you have it set, before long you start anticipating when the thing's going to go off, when it's going to fire. You start timing it, you're subconscious. And I feel like that's when I start freezing up. I'll be aiming and pulling, and I'm like, this thing's fixing to fire, and when my pin goes off the dot, I stop. And that's horrible. I like to keep a constant, steady pull. You know, that freeze and go thing causes tons of problems. So when I start to feel that, I'll switch releases for a couple weeks. And then I instantly see my shot getting better and better and better. And you know, then I may go back to that release. But I always like to keep myself guessing. And I even hunt with a back tension release, which a lot of people think is kind of crazy. But I hunted with a caliper release for so long, and no matter what, I mean, I shoot for a world championship and all that, but nothing gets me amped up like a deer coming in or a big buck coming in. It's just, I don't know, I freak out and I go going and things start going south. So when I shot a caliper release, as soon as that pin would get on that, I felt like I had to dump it. I felt like I had to, it's got to go now. You know, he's going to spook, he's going to see me, he's going to walk behind a tree. So what I did is I went to a back tension release, and that makes me wait for that shot. It makes me make that perfect shot. It makes me, you know, if he's walking, I should take that shot anyway, probably. So it makes me, everybody's like, well, what if you have to rush the shot? You know, what if you're in a hurry? Well, I probably shouldn't have shot it anyway, you know, if that's the case. So I just kind of made myself slow down and realize, hey, I don't have to fire this shot as soon as that pin gets on. You know, I need to take my time. It's more important than shooting at a dot, you know. I need to take my time and make sure. So that's kind of why I do that. And it's what I'm comfortable with. I shoot it every day throughout the spring and summer. So it doesn't make sense to me just to change everything up right before hunting season. So I can touch more on that later.